As I told someone earlier, the main difference between the high-tech Israeli industry and the publishers industry is that we write our emails in Hebrew and speak in Hebrew. So I hope you bear with me with my English presentation. I guess most of the Israelis here familiar with N12. But for those of you who don't, I'll show you our video, our first campaign video. So you get the feel of what it is, and then I'll talk about behind the scenes of the making of N12. So.
בוקר טוב.
תתחדשו. סגל, תוציא את הפוש.
מהיום, נבחרת הכתבים המובילה בישראל עובדת בשבילכם 24 שעות ביממה ומביאה לכם את החדשות בדרך שלא הכרתם. אתר החדשות החדש, N12 של חדשות 12. אז התחברו לחדשות מאנשי החדשות.
נו, הורדתם כבר את האפליקציה.
N12, אתר החדשות של ישראל.
Okay, so what you just saw was really the end of a year and a half work we did on N12. Our goal was to launch a new digital brand, news brand, and it so happened that we did it straight into a year that was really one big news event. The corona started maybe 2 weeks after the launch, and of course we didn't expect that. And there was a great need of our users to get real data, not all the fake news that went on the social media. They wanted something reliable and something that will be updated frequently. And we just met at this point. I think it took us 2 weeks after the COVID started to launch this feature. We gathered all the official statistics of the corona spread and tried to deliver them to the users as simple as we could. And we had like millions of hits every day. People just wanted to know what's going on. If you remember in the first when it just started, we tracked each patient who got infected, where did he go and what he did. So it really was a great timing for us. And it was so successful that people started to produce their own memes over the web. I think maybe because they were bored and closed at home. So I'll show you some of the memes. Sorry. This is what happens when you stay at home with the kids. How many times did the parents say, "This is the last time I'm telling you"? This is when your child gets rid of the diapers, and how many times you did number 2 around the house. How many people really enjoys techno music at weddings, etc., etc. It was really popular, but when we started working on it, we never saw it coming. Actually, this is us 3 days before the launch. Chen in the middle is smiling because she's always smiling, but the rest of us were really stressful because we just came down from a big meeting when we showed N12 to all of our Keshet and Mako executives and asked them, "What do you think?" That was after we got all the approval and it was already in the stores, ready to launch, and we were so sure of ourselves that we gathered everybody and showed it to them, and they really didn't like the reporters chat. The reporters chat was supposed to be a killer feature. I'll show you how it looks This is like a stream, a feed of raw news that the reporters themselves write from the field, and it goes online immediately. I'll talk more about it soon. And they really, really, really didn't like it. They told us it's not really a chat because the user can't write messages, and that all of the subjects are mixed. I mean, a reporter can start writing about one topic, and then another reporter writes about something else, and then the first one continues about his own topic, and it really is a mix of raw news, etc., etc. Actually, we took like this messaging app and put it inside a content app, and it was really hard for them to get it. And we gathered here to think maybe to get the chat lower in the homepage. Maybe it will scare people. This is me at this time, sorry. I'm not as concerned as the rest of us because first of all, we did our usability research, which this is, I think, the test, the most objective test. We give the users the app and just look what they see, what they do, what they use, and there was no problem there. Everybody did what we expected them to do and had no problems. So I was okay. And if you go to a room with a lot of opinionated people and ask them for their opinion, you'll get it. And it's not that I'm not familiar, you know, with this even rage that you get when something doesn't work as you expect it. I know it, but I also know that it can change very fast if the user gets his satisfaction. Okay, if you answer his exact need, so even if it's not really how he thought it will be, it will take him a few seconds, and if he gets it, so you're okay. So you don't have to be afraid from new things. And I know it because I've been doing the same thing for 23 years, and I can tell you this is the place to stand out. If you want to do something new, if you want, especially if you have other competitors that's stronger and you want to stand out, you have to be innovative, and you can't be afraid of it. In our field, in the news field, we were a bit concerned because our users supposed to be like more elder people, maybe not, maybe reject new things. They're used to their own apps for like years now, and maybe something innovative can scare them. But in my experience, sorry, I'll just stick to my notes. If you meet the user needs exactly, so the chances are for your own good. I've been doing the same thing for like 23 years now. This is my first project, the first Channel 2 News website back in 1998. And since then, I've been in the publishing area for a lot of time, mainly thinking about new ways to deliver content. It can be music, it can be news, videos, blogs, onto new platforms. Okay, and I think my experience in those new platforms, either it was at the beginning it was web, and then the mobile WAP portals, and of course applications and games, and everything. Every time a new platform came out, we started to think how can we take content and make it into a product on that platform. And in these experiences with new technologies, where we didn't know how to make complicated features because it was just the beginning. So we had to make everything really simple and easy to use. And all of our creative process went into the design of things. So at the end, what we got is simple features or simple products that look good. And I think simple and good looking is probably the sure way for a successful product. Okay, so that's about me. And now let's go back 2 years before the launch. The Israeli here knows that we used to have channel 2. It was split into 2 channels. Keshet got channel 12, and a few months later bought the news company. That was before Channels 2 news company. And then our challenge was to make a product that will be at least as popular as the news show, which is maybe the highest rating or the most watched television show in Israel. And if it's not a big challenge already, that was our starting point. This is the digital news industry 3 years ago. And as you can see, there's one main dominator, which was Ynet. And Mako was about half of the users. And whatever we did, we couldn't bring the audience from Ynet to Mako, because Mako, on top of the same news that we show today in N12, we also have a lot of gossip and entertainment content. And the brand of Mako is like light news and entertainment. And the major audience of Ynet, mainly the males, the older males, didn't want to come to Mako, whatever we did. So so that was our first problem. And the second one was the news had their own app, but it was mainly used as a VOD app. I mean, people would watch the shows live or later on VOD, but it wasn't a place that you go and check what's happening like every couple of hours. And another problem was that we did a survey and found out that 85% of the people would prefer to get their news in text and not in video, because then you can do it, in a meeting under the table. You don't have to use the sound, and that app was mainly video. So we had 2 major challenges. One, launching this new digital brand. We had to distance ourselves enough from the TV brand, so we won't go back to being the VOD branch, but also using its power. And also we needed to offer a real alternative for competitors, but especially the market dominator, that was Ynet. But we didn't want to scare away the users. So how do you do it? We did a lot of research to reach the right balance, okay? We wanted to see how different kinds of designs will appeal to our crowd, to our users. In order to do that, we couldn't just design like 20 different apps now and show it to people, because our studio would kill me. So what we did is what I like to do in the research part of the work. And this is, and they told me not to say copy, get inspired by competitors. We just look at many news apps and sites around the world and converted them to Hebrew. So this is the Israeli BBC. As you can see, the design is quite basic, but there's a lot of data you can get on the first view. This is the Tel Aviv car, maybe. a bit more designs, a bit less data. The Daily Mail, which is a British tabloid, okay, they used just the main item would get a huge picture and a huge headline, and that's it. We tried everything, really. We tried every style we can get. Even this is a site called Aussie, which is a bit more stylish. It was just before the Israeli holidays, so I printed all of the desktop designs on these big A3 pages, and also we sent all of our employees the mobile designs to their phones and told them, okay, go meet your friends, meet your family, come back after the holidays, and let's see what they think about it. We provided them with these questions for everyone, and we got back a lot of data. Two main things stood up. First of all, 40% of our users didn't like any new design. They just wanted the things they knew, the design they already know, the one that was similar to Ynet, and every new design were really suspicious for them. I mean, they didn't trust it. But we had the other 60% who they preferred a lot of different designs, but they're all open for a change. So that was good for us. And the main other thing we found out, the people like to get updated just by scanning the homepage. Even before they get into items, they just want to scan and feel that they know what's going on. And so we have to provide them with a really easy experience of scanning the homepage, and they also needed us to show them what's more important and what less important. So what we did, we took a lot of ways to put the content on the page and started to check what is right for our goal, what is best for this quick scan. And we questioned everything. I mean, I asked them, don't go to any convention you know. Let's try and make real decisions according to what we know about the users. So we examined the use of headlines, of subtitles, of pictures, everything. In our case, the first few items get a real big headline and subtitle. And then after that, there's a long string of short news that we got rid of the categories that we divide them, like, you know, Plili, Medini, Bitchoni. Nobody knows what's the difference between those categories. We also checked maybe the picture should go on the left side of the, can you see it? On the left side of the text instead of the right. Because, first of all, most of the text today are below the picture or on top of the picture. So the text itself is aligned to the right. And if you want to scan really fast the news updates, maybe all of the text should align to the right also. It wasn't really our idea. I just saw it in Arabic news apps like Al Jazeera, which is also everything is aligned to the right because they also read from right to left. So there are parts when we use this kind of left. I know that pictures draw the eye. I mean, in other applications, maybe we didn't do it, but in news application, the pictures tend to be the same. I mean, it was always BB a few months ago, and now it's the other is maybe Bennett and the other ministers, but it's not really the pictures that you'll get maybe in Mako, okay? So so that's what he did. And then we had to find out what will be our innovative killer feature. Okay, we wanted something that will embody the main values of our product. And for that, we needed to ask people, what do they expect from a news app? We surveyed 500 people in מכון הגל החדש, And this is what they told us. The most important attributes were be the first to update, be reliable, have a really fast upload time, and only in fourth place is rich and interesting content. Okay, did we need 500 people for these answers? Maybe if I ask all of you here in this room, I think we maybe got the same answers. For our journalists, shock, exclusivity, or like first publish of news, most of the people didn't care about it. Okay, so those were our answers. That was the most important thing, and now we had to find what our killer feature is. So we had a big advantage on the reliability because television delivers news through faces. Everybody here know the reporters' faces. They see them every night on the screen. They learn to trust them, and so we had this kind of asset that we could use, maybe different from print or radio or digital news. Okay, so now we had to combine this into fast updated product. So we went to the newsroom in the Veilan where the news sit, and just had like weekly meetings with them and wanted to see how they work, what do they think, what are their ideas, and mainly how can he shorten the time between when the reporter gets his first raw news until the official item is published. And they showed us this work tool that they use, a Telegram closed group that they already were using, and all the reporters sent to their editors all of the news they got, and they talked about it, and they upload pictures and everything, and actually that was the reporter's chat. We just had to signal it. I remember when I realized that, it was when I saw this line that said, Amit Segal is typing. Amit Segal is a well-known reporter. His face and name is there, like the reliable part, and then he's typing right now the freshest news you can get from the field. So really fast update and reliable. That was just in Hebrew it's 3 words, in English 4 words, that really embodied all of what we wanted from this product and from this brand. It explained the feature itself and also everything around it. And it was so accurate that all of the other departments were aligned to the same point because of it. I mean, the design could take elements from the chat and use it all over the site or the app. The content new, like, sorry? Yeah. The reporters could explain to the audience what it's all about. The nature of the content was more clear for us. We could explain all of the product to our managers, and of course the marketing campaign started from that. For those of you who ask, what you see in the reporters chat are really the news that you gather from the Telegram groups and other social media of the reporters, like Twitter. It all goes into this administrative system, and there's an editor 24/7 working, and most of the time he just publish the items that come in as fast as he can, because we want it to be as close to real time as we can. He blocks a news that we can't publish legally, and he can also edit everything. He can edit the text, edit the pictures, but he rarely does it, only in cases that we have like severe mistypes of the reporters, like this example.
נוסי.
רגע, ארד, אני משחרר עדכון לצ'אט הכתבים.
נוסבאום.
מה?
אתה על אנגלית.
וואו.
N12 מציג את צ'אט הכתבים. תהיו הראשונים שמקבלים דיווחים, תמונות וקטעי וידאו בלעדיים ישירות מקבוצת ההתכתבות של נבחרת הכתבים המובילה בישראל. התחברו לחדשות מאנשי החדשות. N12, אתר החדשות של ישראל.
נו, הורדתם כבר את האפליקציה.
The chat was actually a really big gamble because, as I told you, we took a feature from one world and put it in another world, and we didn't see it anywhere else. But this is the definition of being innovative. We did get a little concerned at some point. So we told ourselves, okay, let's design the first view of the site and the app really familiar looking and hide a little bit the reporter chat and then surprise the user with it. But we did the presentation to our CEO, Avinir, Keshet CEO, and he told us, look, if you're going to do something familiar, people will come, see it's familiar and go back to the familiar they already know. So if you want to stand out, you really should have the courage to stick your innovation at the top of your lungs and scream it. And when he told us to have courage, you know, so we took it even further and we said, okay, let's give all of the control of the design to the editors and release it from us. I mean, we made them a lot of different templates that they can use according to what's going on in the news. I mean, this is like the ordinary news day, a standard template. If there's a big main event, they can change it to this kind of template. They can change the colors of the background. If there's a special news report or a special broadcast, they can take over all of the homepage. They can insert like graphic elements, more items. They really, of course, colors. They really have a lot of changes they can make by themselves. I should have known that the last time they used the ordinary template, the regular one, was maybe 2 weeks after the launch. After that, there was not a single day they thought maybe it's not like a dramatic, important news day. So I'll take this design, maybe use it in another site. We had to launch much faster than we thought because the elections here started, the first one. We didn't know they're going to be 4. So our developers really made miracles, and we launched a big campaign that I'm sure nobody missed. I know my mother didn't miss it because this is what she sent me the morning after the launch. All the day, she's complaining about the frequency of the commercials all the day, every day. But actually, this is one of the things that I like in working with Keshet, because you make projects and they're really good at getting a lot of people, knowing them very fast. And in these people, there's always your friends and family, which are the ones that matter for us the most. We launched at the end of February 2020. And as I said, 2 weeks later, the corona came. And nobody expected that. We thought the main news would be the elections. So we didn't expect that, and we also didn't expect what happened here. Within 1 month, we had over 1 million downloads and doubled it after that. We were number 1 at the app stores, and we had like 7 times more traffic than we used to have. That was exactly what the people needed at that time. 30% of our users were really heavy users, addicted to the chat during the Corona. And remember I told you about this older audience that didn't want to come to Mako. So that was most of the audience that came to N12. So together, both of our brands finally made us first place in users, at least for that time. And it was a lot faster than what we anticipated. We thought it would take us a year. As for the chat, of course, when an ordinary day, it's really good, but when things happen in the news, people just keep getting in it all the time. It's not only the first thing you get under the main article. The TV show, the TV news broadcast also use it on their screen to show updates. We just had the last military operation in Gaza, Shomer Chomot. I can show you some of the data of the chat. This is a month before. This small peak here is Har Meron disaster that was in Israel, and that big Everest mountain is the start of Shomer Chomot. You can see that the blue is pictures and the yellow is videos. We used to post all of these rockets going up the air and exploding, and people just watched everything, every picture, every video. It was insane. So I can just tell you, I think in our field, there's never absolute answers, okay? And even if things work, you have to question every time, again and again, does it really work for you or for your users? This is why it's very important for me, first of all, to work with these colleagues. You should open for new ideas and have their own opinions, so we can collaborate on that. We try to make most of our decisions based upon research and data, and in this case we had a lot, but there's always those places when you have to decide if you're going with something familiar, like easy for the user, or you want to stand out with innovation. And I can tell you that I believe that if you keep it simple and pretty, and if everything is reasoned to the user's need, so this is the place to be innovative, because this could make the whole difference, actually, especially if you're lucky and you have a really good launch timing. Thank you. Let's ask questions now if you have anything.
So first of all, I think it's amazing, an amazing story, and I think it's a great example for the perfect market fit.
Yeah.
The right product in the right time. I'm a big fan.
Thanks.
But I wanted to ask, how do you know the reporter chat is really the thing that makes it successful? Like, how do you measure the interaction with it? How do you know that the users really get into the app because of the reportage?
First, we see the data of the app use, but we ask people. We asked people a few times during the last year, what do they think about the app, and what is the most, what is the feature that they like the best, and the chat is always high on the answers. And he also asked another thing. I like to ask people, what would you do if there was no longer N12 or the reporters chat? How disappointed will you be? And I think 38 or 39 said they will be really disappointed. And for me, that's like a great example that we have a base of people who really hooked to the chat and made it like the part of their daily use.
Was the chat part adopted by other news outlets globally?
Yeah, globally, I don't know yet. Here in Israel, Sport 5 did their own user reporters chat, and we saw it, and now it's in N12 too, their chat. I was a bit annoyed or flattered, but then Keshet just bought like 50% of Sport 5 and the problem was solved. I saw that now in the Olympics, I think Haaretz is using it for like online reports from the Olympics. And I know I did this presentation in international, I don't remember, some European news broadcasters, and they really was interested and asked me how we did it, but nothing followed through, so I don't know if they're doing it or not. Ken?
Is it part of a strategy to have the reporters as like mini celebrities, like they do with the chefs now and many other domains?
It wasn't the strategy. We really wanted to do what's best for the product, and we realized that their faces are the main advantage that we have over the other competitors. But we awoke a giant. Yeah, I mean, those reporters who come to the TV and not to work in a newspaper or radio or something, they are already wanting to be famous. Okay, they want to show in the TV show, and you know, every one of them has his own personality. It's half show, half news, half news show, news and half show. So we really tapped into their already big ego, and they liked just like that the campaign is around them and this feature is around them and everything around them. So we got so it was really easy working with them on that, but it wasn't our original intent.
This is actually connected to the question on Zoom. How would you comment the fact that a lot of reporters are using Telegram, and there you can literally could check the news you're really interested in, like specifically politics, specifically Amit Segal. So does it
look, that's a bigger problem than that for us publishers, because the young generation, he doesn't like official publishers. He gets all of his data, including news, from his social apps or whenever he is, and he follows Amit Segal, and he follows, I don't know, Israel Bidur, and gets everything in his place, and they don't come to us to get the content. So that's a big challenge for us. This is the next challenge for me actually, to think what we're going to do about it. But we know, yeah, it's and we can't tell the reporters not to do it. I mean, it's their own private media, social media, so you can't really tell them not to do it. We ask them first to write it in the Telegram group that goes to the chat, and then write it wherever they want.
Do they do it?
Yeah. You can see Amit Segal sitting in the Ulpan, in the news show, and says something, and immediately finishes the sentence and immediately send it to his tweet, to his Twitter. Yeah.
In the race to be the first one to report, is there a chance to get fake news online, or how do you tackle things like censorship?
Yeah, and the sensitive place is the reporters chat. That's why we have an editor that goes. Fake news, we believe that most of our reporters are experienced enough to check things before they send it. And also we have this, what we did, when the editor sends the item to publish, then we just start to write the Amit Segal is typing and the 3 dots you know, so he has like a few more seconds if he wants to regret and pull the item back before it's published. So we give him some time because it is sensitive. But those journalists at Channel 12 News, I think if there's someone you can trust that they won't write fake news, I think it's there. I think all of the fake news that go on the social media helps us actually, because people get that this is the place that you can get reliable information.
Hi, you mentioned in the beginning that the main feature of the chat was not something that everyone was enthusiastic about, but that was like the core of the new product that you created.
Yeah.
Can you explain a bit like how you persuaded or like moved the other people?
Okay, well, our process was our customers were the news company managers and our own managers. And with them, we did like a year-long process of confirming everything, doing our usability research. So with them, it was easy. And the mistake we did was getting all of the managers and the editors of Mako and Keshet, everybody to the same room when we were already ready to launch. And giving them the app and tell them, okay, hit us with your criticism. And they did. But the thing we did is just put the chat, instead of right under the main headline, 3 items below it. I was really sure that the chat will work. And so we basically ignored most of what they said and went on anyway, with the backing of our direct managers. Next time we'll do it differently. Anything else?
I can see there is no monetization in the reporters chat, and I wonder how it affects the revenue. In general, there is like the revenue increase as a result of the...
Yeah, it's a good question, because it was a decision we made because we wanted, first of all, to make the users come and visit us as many times as they could. And the chat was the main way to do it. So we said we prefer not to monetize the chat and have people get in it a lot, maybe for the first year or two. And then after everybody is really hooked, and maybe we'll start monetize the chat. But for the time being, it's the only part that is clean from advertising.
I guess that's part of the reasons why people like to go.
Sure.
But does it have any negative impact on the revenue in general? Because people go to the reporters chat rather than to the regular articles with the monetization?
No, I don't. We didn't saw any negative impact. We know that a lot of people come and just scan the homepage and reads the chat and goes out, but they do get in items as much as they did before. I mean, I think at the end you have like, I don't know how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 subjects that you're really interested in and want to read the full report. And the rest of it, you just want to know what's going on. So I think it's the right balance. When our commercial unit will start screaming, we'll start thinking where we can, how we can monetize the chat. But for now, it's like the main tool for educating people to visit us frequently.
You mentioned in the beginning that there was a concern that the topics would change in the chat. So
it happens.
It happens. So.
Yeah, we just had, I think a month ago, like an update about a basketball game, and under it a mass shooting in the States, and we got some complaints about it from our users. But this, we knew it will happen. I think For me, it's like a peek to behind the stage of news making. For me, this balagan is working for us because it shows it's an authentic content, and I think that's one of the things that actually helps the feature.
Today, you have some user feedback, like or something for the?
No, only share. They share. They can share posts or pictures or videos from the chat, so we can see what's going on there. But no likes or comments. Who?